The city of Los Angeles has filed charges against SoCalGas for the methane leak in Aliso County, which of course is the methane leak that you might have heard of in Porter Ranch, California. Now, in the criminal proceeding, SoCalGas has been charged with failing to inform the authorities immediately upon discovering the blowout at Aliso Canyon storage facility and for spewing contaminants into the air. Now, under the charges the company faces, and this should infuriate everyone, a penalty of $25,000 a day for each of the 3 days it failed to report the breach to the emergency services, and up to $1,000 a day on the air pollution charges until the well is plugged. Again, keep in mind, this is a company that makes so much money in profit, and the charges against them seem serious, but the penalties tied to those charges are laughable, to say the least. What kind of penalty is that?
No, Anna, to be fair, it's $25,000 a day for a whole 3 days. That's $75,000 to this company that makes millions upon millions of dollars. And then every day the gas is out there, they're gonna have to pay another $1,000.
No, you guys understand that thousands of people have gotten sick. Property values in that area have plummeted, and thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes, okay? Not only is this an inconvenience, not only is it leading to health issues, it's having massive ramifications on our environment because the natural gas actually has an even more negative impact on climate change than, the coal industry does, for instance.
The reason for that is methane is more damaging than carbon is.
Yes.
And so this is releasing an enormous amount of methane. In fact, 80,000 metric tons of methane has already been released in the atmosphere. Now, to me, the most damaging part of this is they still don't know how to fix it. So it's been going on now for months.
It started on October 23rd of 2015, and it's still happening. They think that they'll be able to solve this issue by late March. And to just show you the severity of this issue, which, by the way, is not being covered at all in the mainstream media, just take a look at these videos that show you infrared images of the methane leak. This is disastrous. I was recently in the area. The smell is, honestly, for me, debilitating. I couldn't handle the smell. It made me nauseous almost immediately. So SoCalGas and some of the experts involved in this are claiming, oh, no, this isn't going to harm your health whatsoever. Of course, they have an incentive to say that. It's harming our health, it's harming our environment, and these so-called penalties are ridiculous. When are they going to be held accountable for their actions? The lack of regulation is exactly why stuff like this happens in this country.
So credit to MSNBC for at least giving it that coverage. And now I want you to think about two different things here. One is they tell us, no, we've got too much regulation. Now you tell me you're doing this natural gas and that when there's a leak, you don't know how to solve it for 6 months. In your best case scenario, right? Shouldn't we have a regulation that says, hey, if you're going to release this much methane into the air, even for 1 day, let alone for months on end, you should have a way to plug that hole. So they say, no, it's really hard. The pipes are buried under the ground. They're very hard to reach. You don't know where the leak is coming from. I understand it's very hard. That's why you should have worked on a solution before the leak.
Think about every other industry and the safeguards that you need to have in place to ensure that people are safe, right? Why is it that when it comes to corporations or the oil and coal company or the natural gas companies, why is it that they're able to get away with no regulation whatsoever? You know why. It's because they fund the politicians to ensure that they don't have to deal with these regulations. But they're messing with our environment. They're messing with our health. They're messing with our livelihood.
So that goes to point number two. What were the good people of Flint, Michigan told? No, I know you say you're nauseous. You say you have headaches. And you say there's something really, really wrong here, but we don't really believe you. No, we're going to study this for another year, and then if your children are getting poisoned in the meanwhile, well, I guess that's a tough break for you. Now we have this methane gas pouring out of this hole in the ground at extraordinary, record-breaking rates. People are saying, oh my God, it smells terrible. I can sense it. Mm-hmm. Like they could see it in Flint, Michigan. The water is orange, it's yellow, right? They're like, no, don't believe your lying eyes. Here, they're like, don't believe your lying nose. The government is telling you it's okay. Now, finally, they're a little mad because they're panic. Turns out everybody's starting to get really mad about this. So California, which had really not been doing much about it, now Kamala Harris and Governor Brown are like, oh, yeah, we're on it. Criminal charges, civil charges, we'll go get them, okay? Many months later. nice to see you show up to work after people start getting mad. But don't believe your lying senses. And, oh, you're nauseous, you got headaches, you claim you have health problems. Nah, I don't believe you. What are you? You're not a legitimate person. It's not like you're a corporation.
Yeah.
Okay, you're just a human being. And we don't trust. What are you guys going to sue us? No. It's all these lawyers who are trying to get lawsuits and stuff like that. Yeah, because there's all this methane gas coming out and it's making us sick, right? Now, no, we just don't believe human beings.
So
If you were credible, like a major media organization or a major corporation, then we would believe you.
another thing to take into consideration is there's a huge difference between Flint, Michigan and Porter Ranch, California. Flint, Michigan, as you guys know, includes people that are in a lower socioeconomic status. And usually the criticism is if you're not living in a wealthy neighborhood, well, no one's looking out for you. But guess what? No one's looking out for anyone in the U.S. because Porter Ranch is a very affluent area, and it turns out that they don't matter either. When you're up against a corporation or when you're up against corporate money, it doesn't matter how well off you are or what kind of awesome neighborhood you're living in, you're getting screwed, and that's what's happening to these people. Also, there's another wrinkle in this story. Apparently, SoCalGas is still billing people in Los Angeles, and the bills...
I mean, to be fair to them, they're losing a lot more gas. A lot more gas is being used.
Well, residents in Los Angeles have noticed that their gas bill has gone up considerably. And so a council member is asking for an investigation into that because he believes that some of the burden on SoCalGas as a result of this methane leak is now being transferred on to residents in Los Angeles. So there are people who evacuated their homes in Porter Ranch and their bills have gone up. How is your gas bill more expensive if you're not living in that house?